Hello, everyone. I'm Laura Barat, a tropical Vedic astrologer, and welcome to my channel. I do tropical Vedic astrology and also tarot card readings incorporated with some shamanic journeying. If you're interested in that, please visit my website at laurabaratastrologer.com. Okay, so today I am talking about the solar return and Varshaphal. And Varshaphal is unique in the fact that it has something called the year lord and the Muntha. And all the Muntha is the progressed ascendant, and it progresses one sign a year. So at age 0, or the day you're born, your Muntha is your ascendant or your natal ascendant. And then it progresses at age 1, it's the next sign. At age 2, it progresses to the next sign, and etc. On and on, right? And so the Muntha says a lot about what will happen during the year. And when you cast a solar return chart, always use your place of birth. Do not cast it for where you live, because if you see a scary Varshaphal or a scary solar return chart, all you have to do is move to a different place, and you can change the house positions of the Muntha and the year lord and avoid that karma, and it just doesn't work that way. And so, so always cast the solar return for the place of birth. And then you always want to look at the Muntha from the natal ascendant and from the Varshaphal ascendant. And so in the years of age 7, age 19, age 31, age 43, age 55, these are all years that could signal massive change in your life, because the Muntha will be in the 8th house from your ascendant. Okay. And then also the year 12, age 12, 24, 36, 48, those years also kind of signal a new beginning of something, because whenever the Muntha is in the ascendant, that signals a new beginning. And especially if it's in the Varshaphal or Solar Return Ascendant, it signals a new beginning. Okay? So, and it's a little stressful, but not too much. And so the Muntha in certain houses causes either a very good year or a stressful year, or a year that really depends on how much effort you put into it. Okay? So the good years are when the Muntha are in the 9th, 10th, and 11th houses. And this comes into play more from the Varshaphal ascendant or the Solar Return Ascendant. And so if the Muntha falls in the 9th, 10th, or 11th, it's usually a pretty good year. You excel in your career. You learn more interesting new things. You evolve spiritually. You acquire more wealth. All those kinds of things. Okay. If the Muntha is in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 5th, those are years where it really just depends on your effort. Not so much the 5th. The 5th is kind of a good luck house, and that can, give you more luck and more wisdom. And it's also a wealth house, so you could acquire more wealth. Just because it's a Dharma house, the 5th and the 9th are wealth houses because they're Dharma houses, or they increase your wealth in ways that are lucky, that you would never expect. And then, but there are also houses that further your evolution spiritually. You get you more interested in being creative, and all around learning and things like that, right? So, and then if the Muntha, I covered the Muntha in the 1st house, that's usually signals some kind of new and exciting major change. The Muntha in the 2nd has to do with your family and your possessions and your wealth and your resources. The Muntha in the third will have to do with your self-effort and hobbies and siblings and a minor competition. So those are what those houses mean. Now, Tajika Nilakantha or Tajika Astrology or Varshaphal doesn't like the Muntha in the fourth house, the sixth house, the seventh house, the eighth house, or the 12th house. And obviously the 6th, 8th, and 12th, those are Dushtana houses, right? Those cause problems. The 6th house causes health problems and debt and enemies and lawsuits, things like that. The 8th house causes massive major changes. It can cause an accident. It can cause just, a major move, some type of stressful thing, but not always. Not always. I've seen when the Muntha is in the 8th house, people become parents or they get married or they change in status in some way. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It just is that the person's not really ready for that yet, but it's forced upon them. The 8th house always forces things upon us that we're not ready for, okay? The 12th house is expenses. The 12th house is loss. The 12th house is being secluded from something. So that's why they have some negative connotations. Now the 4th and the 7th is a little weird. The 4th house is a Kendra or a angular house. So when the month is in the 4th house, usually you can move, which is always stressful, or you have to conform yourself to 4th house indications, like your own home. You could have problems in your home where you have to repair your home. You could have problems with your mother. You could have problems or be depressed with your happiness. And that's all 4th house connotations. And you have to change yourself in some way to accept what's happening in the 4th house, and that's stressful. The same with the 7th house. They don't like the Muntha in the 7th because you have to change yourself or conform yourself in some way for your partner, or your spouse. And having the year lord in the 7th house as well can be stressful. Okay. So that's why they don't like the Muntha in the 4th and the 7th. So it was the Dishtanas, the 4th and 7th. Yep, that's it. I've covered all the houses. Now you want to look at this mainly from the Varshaphal Ascendant, but you also want to look at it from the Natal Ascendant. So those years I mentioned when the Muntha is in the 8th house from the Natal Ascendant, that usually signifies some kind of change in your life. Another thing about the Muntha that is very important that a lot of people overlook, besides having a planet in the Muntha or having the Muntha in a house. So if your ascendant is, let's say, 9 degrees of Aries, so when you're 2 or 1 years old, your Muntha will be 9 degrees of Taurus, and when you're 2 years old, your Muntha will be 9 degrees of Gemini, and so on. It's always 9 degrees. So you have to look, if the Muntha is empty, if it has no aspect or no planets in the Muntha or in the same sign as the Muntha, then you want to look at the aspects to that Muntha. What aspects more than 40 points? There's a possible of 60 points. If there's a very strong aspect to that Muntha degree, that planet is going to have a lot to say about what happens during that year. So if you have Venus exactly opposite, let's say the Muntha is Gemini, 9 degrees of Gemini, and you have Venus at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, relationships are going to be a huge part of that year because it is aspecting that Muntha so strongly. And you want to look at that even though there may be planets in the Muntha as well. You always look at aspects to the Muntha. A lot of people overlook that. But I've seen people get married in years where the Muntha was empty and there was no indications of marriage except for Venus aspecting that Muntha almost exactly. So that's always important to keep in mind, okay? And then, did I want to say anything else here? I think I said, oh yeah, calculate the Muntha from your place of birth. and not from where you live at the time. And yeah, I think I've covered everything about the Muntha. So that's really a kind of easy thing to look at when you are looking at a solar return chart or a Varshaphal chart. And it will tell you a lot about what's going on in the year. You also want to look at where the Muntha Lord is placed. So if your Muntha is in Libra for that year, you want to pay special attention to Venus. Sometimes the Muntha Lord is the year Lord. So you get a double whammy there, but a lot of times it isn't. So you have to look for the year Lord, the Muntha, and the Muntha Lord. So the house position of the Muntha Lord has a lot to say about what's going to happen during the year, and also the natural indications of the planet that rules the Muntha. So if the Muntha is Libra, relationships can be a big part of the year. Vehicles, because Venus rules vehicles, all types of vehicles, that you could buy a new car during the year, a new boat, bicycle, whatever. And then there was something else that I just thought of. So yeah, the Muntha Lord. If you have, let's say the month is Capricorn, and it's 9 degrees of Capricorn. If benefic planets, meaning the Moon, Venus, or Mercury alone, or Mercury with benefics, that makes Mercury benefic. If they are aspecting the Muntha, usually it's an easy year. If you have malefic planets, Mars, the Sun, Saturn, aspecting the Muntha, then that makes it a difficult year, or a year where you have to put in a lot of effort, a teeth-pulling year if it's only malefics, right? If you have the year or the Muntha Lord, so if your Muntha is in Capricorn, at 9 degrees of Capricorn, and you have Saturn aspecting the Muntha, that's a good thing. Usually Saturn will give a lot of toil and waiting around and just a lot of problems. But if Saturn is the Lord of the Muntha, then that is a good thing. Consider that to be, he will help that Muntha quite a bit. Okay, so that is the Muntha for today, and I'll be talking about something called the parts. It's like the part of fortune and other Arabic parts. That's what Western astrologers call it. In the Vedic or Varshaphal system, they call it shahams. So parts is just shahams. And I'll be talking about those. Those are extremely interesting, and it shows you where your luck is coming from during the year. Okay? So thank you very much, and please check out my website. I do have my new course coming up, or it is on my website right now, the new Varshaphal course with 7 hours of video instruction and a 27,000 word manuscript. Okay, so till next time, bye.